Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to get kids to stop biting nails. Is your child chewing their fingers to pieces and you don't know why? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the root of nail biting. What is the cause? Why is it that some people get into nail biting and others don't? And then we're going to talk about what you can do to help your child overcome nail biting without actually having to go into big conversations about how cute nails are supposed to look on a regular basis, because there is a better way. Nail biters don't actually care what their fingernails look like very often. They like the habit of nail biting, and there's multiple reasons why they do this. Probably one of the most common reasons why people bite their nails is because it sometimes feels satisfying. It satisfies a craving to have things feel orderly or to feel in control of things. There's lots of different reasons why a person might go for that sensation, to feel that sense of satisfaction that they got every little piece off of the nails that felt rough or too tall or that type of thing. My husband is a nail biter, and our entire married life he has bitten his nails. Do you know why he bites his nails? Because he's lazy, and because he doesn't like anything out of place. It's like an OCD. He's like, that little spot is a little too rough, I'm gonna bite it down. But he's lazy because he doesn't want to go and get a file or the clippers. Every once in a great while I see him using clippers and I'm blown away, because he's not biting off. Now, that's different than the type of nail biting that is like the I'm nervous nail biting, I'm thinking about something nail biting, which is another reason that people actually bite their nails. So some people have little anxieties, and when they have anxieties or things that they're over processing on, maybe ruminating on, there's some stresses or things going on, they'll start to bite on their nails. Sometimes when you start picking at something, biting on something, twisting something, that's a way to actually get your brain chemicals to focus in on solving a problem or coming up with some sort of, conclusion that you're looking for. When you distract your body in one way, it actually allows your body to focus in another. Now, some people that have like ADHD and those types of things might be more inclined to bite on things, to pick at things, so autistic kids, ADHD kids might be more common, but that's not necessarily a sign of autism or ADHD. So definitely don't read too much into that. Just know that sometimes higher levels of anxiety can lead to that nail biting, just so that the person can try to calm themselves and solve their problems. So what do you not do if you're trying to help a person conquer their nail biting? Don't talk to them about how gross their nails look all the time. That's just a type of shaming, and it's really not effective or productive. So just leave that conversation alone. Don't talk about how you feel about their nails. That's beside the point. We're talking about a behavior shift. We're not talking about what people are feeling about their nails. Can you talk about sometimes trying to keep them nice, setting a goal to not bite them for a while and see how long they can grow? Sure, you could talk about stuff like that if you wanted to set a proactive goal like that with your child, but don't go into the shaming category and telling them their hands are ugly or that type of thing, okay? It's just not going to be helpful. So what do you do instead? You teach them a skill of self-government, and then you consistently correct them or pre-teach them as needed. So what is the skill of self-government? If you've subscribed to this channel already, then you know I teach a lot about skills and principles of self-government. One of the 4 basic skills of self-government that every person needs to know is the skill for how to accept a no answer. So how do you accept a no answer? There are 4 steps to that, you look at the person or the situation. In this case, the situation is the fingernail, okay? And it going into your mouth. Or maybe you feeling like you need to really think deeply about something, okay? So you look at the person or the situation, you keep a calm face, voice, and body. It is not a calm body or face to bite your fingernails. So you can let somebody know that. That's not being calm. That's actually a sign that your brain is having a hard time getting to calmness on its own. And that's a good thing to recognize, but we shouldn't always have to go to nail biting to get our brain to get to calmness, okay? So then the next thing that you do is you say, okay, or you disagree appropriately. So maybe the no answer to is don't bite your nails, and you say, okay, I'm not going to bite them. Okay, that's it. Or you disagree appropriately with yourself or your nails, but I would not recommend it on this no answer. Just stick with the okay. Then step number 4, which is the final step, is you drop the subject. This is the hardest part of accepting no answer. You cannot think about the nails anymore. There's a boundary there. There's a no. You've told yourself you can't do it. So you can't do it. So if you can, look at the situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body. Tell yourself, no, I'm not going to bite him. And then say, okay, I'm not going to bite him. And then you say, all right, now I'm going to drop the subject. I'm going to think about something else. I'm going to tell myself I did it. I chose not to bite my nails. That is one time today. I put a little check on my little tally sheet if I'm keeping track of how well I'm doing at not biting my nails. In fact, I highly recommend using positive consequences, positive motivations to help a person see that they can be successful at not biting their nails. What do you do to help them? Teach them the skill for accepting no answers and how any boundary line is a no answer, and that they can give themselves a no answer, but also teach them that you can give them a no answer about anything because you're the parent or you're the teacher for them, right? So you tell them that's a no answer, you need to stop biting your nails, then they say, okay to you, and then they drop the subject. You might have to remind them to drop the subject. You might have to say, now remember to drop the subject. What are you going to think about instead? Let's think about how you just chose not to bite your nails. You said okay. Let's put a check mark on your tally sheet. And let's remember that, you only have to get this many tallies until you get your positive consequence that you're working toward. And then let's focus on doing some cooking or doing something else. So you can help them be successful by giving them the no answer and praising them and helping them have a positive consequence for when things go well. But also, if they don't accept the no answer and they go right back to biting the nails, that means they're not dropping the subject, and then you would need to do a correction. A teaching self-government correction is pretty simple. In fact, I have other videos where I talk about self-government corrections. I highly recommend that for your next video, you go into more details about how to do proper corrections, because if you do, then they'll be able to be more successful. I'll talk about that next video in a moment. But first, I just want to tell you a really quick story. I had a foster daughter who was a nail biter. She bit her nails because of anxiety, and she did have ADHD as well, and autism, so she did have higher levels of anxiety, and she would try to focus sometimes by distracting her mouth or her hands by biting on the nails. Her nails were so bad that they started to bleed, and it was really getting dangerous. Sometimes they were getting infected even because there was nothing left to bite on them. So we started creating goals for growing out her fingernails so that she wouldn't have those bloody fingers anymore. And we set a positive consequence for if she could get her fingernails to a certain place on her finger. We also had positive consequences for every time that she could accept a no answer and choose not to bite the nails. And if she gave herself a no answer and dropped the subject, she could come and tell me about it, and I would always praise her for that too. But we went the next step and decided that we also needed to correct her. And so occasionally she would get corrected. But I'll tell you what, it actually only took her a couple of weeks before she had decided not to have that habit anymore. And she very rarely ever found herself going back to it. And if she did, she would recognize it because now it was unusual, and she would tell herself no. She was empowered. She was self-governed. So let's talk more about those correction skills in the next video, which is the not so known secret for parenting success. Click on the link to that video next. I'll see you there.